But there's something that I want to play because we've been in a wait and see for the Lakers. We were in a wait and see all last year, and now we're in a wait and see for this half of the year. Can we roll that clip? I know we have a clip because it made me think of something.
What I said was that players and coaches alone don't win championships, that organizations do. I do sincerely believe that organizations as a whole win. One part of it can't win alone.
So Michael Jordan took a lot of offense to that. Now, Jerry Krause, again, great GM, Hall of Famer, all that stuff. But there was a big beef there where it was like, no. The Bulls have not been to an NBA Finals since Michael Jordan left. You can't just toss up these opportunities. You have one of the greatest players. You have a very high-level talented Anthony Davis if he can stay healthy and stay on the court. But even if those two guys are healthy, the construct of the team is still not great. We knew this last year. We knew it coming into the season this year. LeBron signed an extension, and I was on record saying that was the biggest mistake of his career, signing that extension, and it's not looking like I was that wrong. So we got the trade deadline coming up, and we also have potential this summer. So the Lakers, again, it's been 18 months that we've been in a wait and see, knowing that this doesn't work. And so you just wonder how much more patience the Lakers have, how much more patience LeBron has, how much more patience Anthony Davis has. Everyone is growing impatient inside that organization and on the outside.
Yeah, I agree. Two things, right? The first thing, can Bron sustain this? He has no choice. He has no choice at this moment. I mean, you're going to be going home in a couple months on vacation anyway, just ride it out. Two, we all know that he want to break that record for us being the all-time leading scorer. That should be his only goal right now is to get to that. Yeah, I know, but still, he's still thinking about it. But here's the thing. It almost feels like, in my opinion, that Rob Pelinka and Jeannie Buss is punishing LeBron James for the Russell Westbrook trade, meaning you played a huge part in getting Russell Westbrook here, and we know we have these 2 draft picks, and we're not going to trade him because you wanted him. You wanted him, Bron. So now you have to deal with it. You made your bed, you have to lay in it. Is it fair? No. Are we wasting his greatness and wasting, his time for us, him being able to go and win championships? Yes. Do I feel sorry for Bron? Yes. But at the end of the day, with Rob Pelinka and Jeannie Buss, especially Rob Pelinka not being aggressive, he's not even traveling on the road. He's nowhere to be found right now. He's, to me, is saying no. Here it is. You dealt these cards. You play.
And this is the part that I don't like about this. Everybody makes mistakes. There's no GM. There's no president. There's no owner out there that hasn't made mistakes, even as players. But the thing that gets a little dicey is like, yeah, he brought in Russell Westbrook. You know who else he brought in? Anthony Davis. You know what they did in their first year? They won a championship. So, look, you can get something right. You can get something wrong. But at the end of the day, he's delivering on himself. He brought Anthony Davis. That was not him saying, oh, I want to go play with the Lakers. That was Anthony Davis saying, we have the same agent, and I want to go play with LeBron James. And so you can get a little bit of a leeway. You can get a little bit of a leash if you make a mistake and say, hey, I think we can do this. Oh, it's not working. He's done enough good to say, hey, you've done some good, you've done some bad. Let's still maximize this because, yes, the Lakers have 17 championships, but they still have a window for more championships when you have one of the top 3-4 players in the world, but he's getting older. So it's a matter of what you do. So we got this trade deadline coming up next week, and if they don't make any moves, even if it's just a piece, I'm not saying that they got to make it all. They got a piece.
Y'all remember what happened last year at the trade deadline? We was waiting on the Lakers, and they decided that they was going to look into the free agency market.
Yeah. Oh, no, they were looking. They went into the free agency. The buyout market. People only want, like the buyout players that you get, they only want to come if they feel like they have a chance for a championship. Guys will be in Milwaukee. Guys are going to start showing up in Boston, Golden State. Those are the places that these buyout guys will start showing. They're not showing up in L.A. That's just the truth.
February 9th, not quite next week, but
whatever. One of those days.
That for our late game. LeBron versus John Morant, the Grizzlies and the Lakers tonight on ESPN. Here is our NBA senior insider extraordinaire, Adrian Wojnarowski, because Woj, the Lakers need a little help and the cavalry may be coming reasonably soon. What can you tell us about Anthony Davis?
Hey, Greeny, some potentially very good news for this Lakers team. I'm told Anthony Davis could be back within about a week. He's been pain-free in his rehab, his on-court activity with that stress injury in that right foot. And I think potentially for the Lakers getting Davis back, perhaps by the start of their 5-game trip on next Saturday that begins in Boston. But, don't rule them out midweek against the Spurs quite yet. But I think by next week, barring any setbacks, the Lakers may finally get Anthony Davis back to this team that right now is about 2 games out of the play-in the Western Conference.
And is there anything else that they may have in store between now and the trade deadline?
I think the Lakers are like a lot of teams who want to add players, add talent, who think it'll start to get a little more serious among teams next week as we get in that 2 to 3 week period before the trade deadline. Think for the Lakers, player like Bojan Bogdanovic in Detroit, who a lot of teams, his shooting, his floor spacing have interest in. The price is significant for players like that. There just are not a lot of sellers yet in the marketplace. Multiple draft picks for a player like Bogdanovic right now, and what teams have to ask themselves for an incremental improvement, how much are we willing to give up? I don't think there's any big deals for the Lakers out there, but I do think they're going to be active around the edges to try to improve this team as they try to get into the postseason with LeBron James and Anthony Davis's return.
All right, no doubt it'll keep you busy over the next couple of weeks. Woj, thank you very much. We will check in with you a little bit later. In the meantime, we're going to do a new feature tonight. We came up with it. It is called Straight Shooter. I have no idea how we came up with that title. Sort of a creative...
Who came up with that, Green?
I don't know. Someone had the idea. I hope this is doing well. It's been so little promotion for Stephen A's book this week. But anyway, so...
Got to make him a bestseller.
Our Jeff Van Gundy was shooting straight this week when he said Steph Curry is the NBA's most valuable player of the last decade. Listen.
This is a tough competitor who is one of the best players you could ever hope to see. And you can make the case to me year in and year out. You can make a strong case. He's been the most valuable player in the league over the past decade. And I just don't think we talk about his greatness enough, his overall greatness, and how he's really pulled what was, I thought, an under-talented team last year in Golden State to win it. That was terrific.
That's a really fascinating question. Obviously, it's really 2 people that would be in line in this conversation, right? There are 3 immortals of this generation. There's LeBron, Steph, and Kevin Durant. These 2 would be at the top. You see the comparison between the 2 of them. This is going back to 2012-13 if you want to go the specifics of a decade. But let's not even go quite that deeply into it. Generally speaking, who's the MVP of this era, of the decade in the NBA? Is it Steph or is it LeBron?
I have to be honest in saying that I vacillated back and forth all afternoon long because it's that close, because I don't want to take anything away from either one of them. They're phenomenal, and we will miss them both when they are gone. Having said that, I'm going to go with Steph Curry. Here's why I'm going to go with Steph Curry. Steph Curry has been a model of consistency. I'm not talking about his play. I'm talking about, or just his play, I'm talking about his impact on the culture of a franchise. LeBron James goes to Miami. You go to 4 straight NBA Finals. You win back-to-back. You leave. You go to Cleveland. You win. You leave. Now, obviously, you lost a few as well, but you left. You go to Los Angeles. You win. But after you win, you have this franchise in place who won for you, with the Kentavious Caldwell-Popes, with the Kyle Kuzmas, with the Alex Carusos, et cetera. And what you prioritized was getting your boy Russell Westbrook on the squad, who, by the way, has been great this year. I don't want to throw any shade on Russell Westbrook. He's been great since coming off the bench. I'm really proud of what I'm seeing him do. You don't have all of that drama with Steph Curry. Steph Curry get on the court, and the babyface assassin is the babyface assassin. The face of the franchise is the face of the franchise. The leader of the franchise is the leader of the franchise. He's been a model of consistency from a culture standpoint that allows you as a franchise to strive to build around him, because you don't have to worry about whether he's coming and going. That is ultimately what I think this question entails. In my mind, that's why I give a slight edge to Steph Curry.
Yeah, I went back and forth, too, after hearing it. I thought that Jeff made some great points.
He did.
And remember, he didn't say Steph is, so you can make a strong case.
Right.
I'm going to make another case tied to this. It's both of them. Just like it was Bird and Magic. And we both have had discussions with those guys enough to know that they believe it's both of them. If you try to say the Magic is you, he goes, no, No, it was Larry and me. It was together. By the way, NBA formative years. Was it Russell who won all the championships without Wilt? No. It was Russell and Wilt. Even though Russell won all the championships and Wilt could never go through him, it was still the two of them. And I think when you look at it, it's LeBron and Steph Curry. The one thing that Steph does that maybe gets a little bit of an edge to me. See, Stephen A., I think that's good that what LeBron did, going from place to place to place. He kept a national interest at a time where nobody has an attention span.
Right.
But Steph Curry changed the way basketball is thought of for a generation of kids. I know because I live with one of them. And his drills when he between 6 years old and now, they're Steph Curry drills. When you go to gyms in high school now, they're not trying to be LeBron. They really can't. They think they can be Steph Curry, and he's had that impact.
Because of Steph's stability in Golden State, my answer is LeBron James. This is where I'm going to reward him for winning 3 championships for 3 different franchises, having to reinvent himself in different situations. The Miami Heat Big 3 situation, and then the championship that he won in Cleveland. That's an iconic championship for LeBron. Then coming to Los Angeles and delivering a title. When you look at the stats, LeBron is second during that period in scoring, but this also what has happened over the last 10 years. LeBron elevated himself to the GOAT conversation. That's actually what happened.
Yeah.
He went from being a top 15, 20 player to a top 10 player to a top 5 player. Now many people have him probably as the greatest player of all time.
I just want to make sure. I want you to understand that what we just did on national television, is there a problem with us comparing 2 men? There's no problem with that. There's no problem with us comparing 2 men. Is there? Two great players, we're comparing them. Is that a crime? I just want to know. Is that okay?
I think it is fine. And the other thing that's worth throwing in here, LeBron may have been the MVP of the decade.